Ooh.
Welcome to Podcast versus Player. A long time ago in a cinema not that far away, really. We went to see Star Wars The Last Jedi. I say we. It is me, Cal, Zoe,
Hello there.
and as always, our Admiral General Spoiler. It's Dan.
Live long and prosper. Oh,
It's
no.
the wrong one.
The other one. Sorry. What did you go and watch?
Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, right. Okay. I watched Star Trek Beyond. Sorry about that.
Star Trek The Last Klingon.
I'd go and see that.
I wouldn't, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Right. Just a quick heads up, if you hadn't guessed from the title and that incredibly ridiculous intro, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this Spoilercast. So if you haven't watched the film, go and watch it and come back, see if you agree or disagree with anything we have to say. And yeah, let's begin. Firstly, what did you think, Zoe?
I really enjoyed it.
You really enjoyed
I
it?
did.
Dan?
Yeah, it's good.
It's alright. I have a lot of niggles, and we are going to delve into them. Firstly, we're going to jump straight onto Rotten Tomatoes, where on the tomato meter, the critics have given it 93%, with an average rating of 8.2 out of 10. And the audience score is 56%, with the average rating of 3.3 out of 5.
Sorry, I've just noticed that Paddington 2 got 100%.
Oh, yeah, as Zoe's just pointed out, Paddington 2, we're going to click on it, has got 100%.
Is that by two people?
100%. That's 50 votes. And 91% want to see it. So, currently...
Maybe those statistics and figures, maybe they aren't all they're cracked up to be. Or maybe they're not exactly representative of the film itself.
No.
I don't know. Thor Ragnarok's got 92.
Yeah, but this is also not. It's not saying like how much better. So if it's Paddington 2 is 100%, that doesn't mean it's better than something else. It just means that whoever went to see it enjoyed it, however much more than someone seeing something else.
I don't know. We'll soon see when Pitch Perfect 3 gets its reviews.
Ooh.
And over on Metacritic, it has an 86 based on 54 critic reviews, 51 positive, 3 mixed, 0 negative. So now we're going to throw our 2 cents in, and we're going to try and knock it down to at least 60%.
We want to round it off one way or the other.
Yeah. No, I'm going to slate a little bit of it.
Captain Downer.
But I'm Captain Downer. But I just want to say I did enjoy it, and it was good. And somebody had mentioned to Dan that it was worse than the Phantom Menace, which
Indeed.
it was not.
Who is fan favourite, friend of the show, Rick, who we are now disowning because it is absolutely and objectively not worse than the Phantom Bloody Menace.
No. I'd say the Clone Wars was, but
yeah,
that's a different film.
So is everything else that came out before and after it, and I'm talking in matters of pretty much all cinema. Because it was pretty shit.
It was a bad few years. Positive points. What was your favourite bit? Anyone?
I did really like the Rey and Kylo team up.
Yeah, that was pretty
the
cool.
throne room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I
probably
do
my
really
favourite
like
scene.
Yeah.
Not just that bit, but the throne room in general, with like the Red Guards and Snoke and actually Kylo and Rey.
that. Yeah.
But I really wanted it to be like a really cheesy buddy cop theme in the background while they were fighting. Like Kylo's like the old cop who doesn't want to work with the new one, and then towards the end of the film he's like, "Hey, you're not too bad," and then they take down a criminal.
I'd work with you anytime, partner. Do you know what really annoyed me about that scene, actually? Or actually about the whole Snoke thing in general, right? His gold outfit doesn't exactly scream dark side, does it?
Yeah, but I think what they're trying to push is Kylo and Snoke aren't they're not Siths. Even though everything
He shot him
that's
with
happened,
lightning, you mean?
Yeah, everything that's happened up to now has pretty much the Sith.
Yeah.
The only difference being they've dropped the Darths and whatnot.
Well, like Kylo said, though, he wants to forget everything about the past. He wants to make
By
all new.
following in the footsteps of all the Sith
yeah.
Lords.
And like
Yeah.
saying, I want to make you proud, grandfather, and all that shit.
Who was a
But-
Sith Lord.
Yeah.
It was the
It's
very definition of a Sith
contradictory,
Lord.
But
But I get the feeling that compared to bad guys of previous Star Wars, that's including films, TV shows, comics, games, everything, that Snoke was maybe quite materialistic, and it wasn't just like I think it seems like he's like the Elton John of Star
like
Wars.
showy type as
Yeah.
well as everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, so a bit like what was his name from bloody 300?
Yeah, bald guy,
Yeah, what was his name now?
Graham.
Shit, I can't remember. But he had a big old throne, and he was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
"I'm a god, you can't possibly hurt me." Rah 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 rah. And it was
Yeah.
all about it's like a show of power.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
if that's
kind
the
of
sort of thing thing they're going for, then fine. But but I also get the point of saying like, well, if we put him in like a hooded black robe, he's just the emperor again.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's also supposed to be. He calls himself supreme leader rather than emperor. But I suppose you can only be an emperor once you have an empire, and they don't. So he's just the leader of the First Order.
Yeah.
But again, it just seems like such a weird thing for this sort of disfigured, horrible, evil man with a big gold jumpsuit on.
Don't you think he looked a bit like Steptoe?
A little bit, yeah.
Just give him some
man.
fingers. Yeah, imagine that. It's like, bring Ray to me. Oh, you jetty old man.
Emperor's bitch.
I'd watch that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter though, because he's dead. We'll never know.
Although,
Is he though?
Yes,
Well,
that
yeah.
was going to be my next point.
I'm going to say yes, he probably is. But
I don't know.
his actual cause of death, quite creative.
Well, no, it's the same way Maul died. Oh, do you mean how it happened?
Oh yeah, not the fact
Yeah,
that
sorry,
he just got
yeah,
cut
yeah.
in half. I just mean that he was reading Kylo Ren's thoughts, and he was just like, he's just turning the lightsaber, and he's just sort of so proud of himself that he doesn't realise that the thing next to him is literally just turning as well. And then he whips it out of him, and then Rey just catches it, and I was just like, that's cool. That's
it
cool.
led into a very good scene.
Yeah. it did.
But this is where my theory head pops on, because if Snoke, either one or two things could possibly happen. Either Kylo has got powerful enough that he could mask what he was thinking to Snoke, and that's how he was able to pull it off, or Snoke actually puppeteered the whole thing, and if he is Darth Plagueis, he's not dead, and this was kind of all orchestrated to push Kylo over this edge that he would basically take on the mantle of Supreme Leader by killing his master.
Maybe,
one
but
thing-
that's not usually the way that the Sith work, though, is it? Like having them.
Yeah, but he's not a Sith, though, is he?
No, but there's still, it's always this. There has to be two sort of thing. There has to be a master. There has to be an apprentice. So he's the apprentice, Snoke being the master, but the apprentice will usually kill the master to take their place once they're powerful enough, not because they've been goaded into it or tricked into it.
But an interesting thing I didn't notice, I saw it today, is Snoke looks less disfigured than he does in like the holograms and all the promotional stuff and whatnot.
He doesn't seem as scary as he did in The Force
Awakens.
Awakens.
Yeah, not as imposing. Obviously, he's not a
1,000 feet tall, yeah.
But his scars, they seem like they're either healing or they're not as bad. So there is an old I forgot his name already. Anyway, there's a Star Wars character, like a dark side user, who drains energy to stay young and live forever.
Yeah.
Maybe Snoke is trying to get Kylo to the power that he knows he can be, so in order to drain it, and then just carry on living.
Maybe, but I mean, we haven't exactly been given anything in any respect. Yeah, there's nothing to go off other than the fact that he was killed by his own hubris. He didn't realise it was going on. He thought he was in control when he wasn't. He gets cut in half, and then that's it. That's as far as we're concerned, as far as we're being told and shown, that's what happened.
But the link between Rey and Kylo is still there at the end.
Yeah, I kind of like this whole sort of, that they can talk to each other, and is it a case of she's trying to convert him or he's trying to convert her? Which way is it going to go? Is it sort of flip-flopping? And I'm a bit annoyed that they didn't go one way or the other, because I think if Rey had been turned to the dark, that would have been like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Whereas if it had been Kylo had turned to the light, I'd have been like, oh okay, that makes more sense. But instead they've just gone, well no, they're just going to kind of carry on exactly as they are.
Well, there was a lot of speculation that they were going to swap roles, and Kylo was going to give in and go back to the light, and Rey would have been taken to the dark. I think it would have made it more interesting if they had have gone down that route.
Yeah, sure.
But I genuinely think the only reason they didn't is because she's the only strong female in Star Wars now.
Well, that wasn't a driving force for any of the other ones.
No, but in the sense, you've got Rogue One. It was obviously... Oh, shit, what was her name?
Jyn Erso.
Yeah, she was the main protagonist of the film. She's dead now. Obviously, we've very sadly lost... Sorry? Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Rogue One.
From that film from a year ago.
Yeah. Well, obviously, unfortunately, we don't have Leia anymore. And then you had Jyn from the game.
The game?
The game. Battlefront 2.
Her name's not Jyn, you idiot.
What's the name in that?
It's,
Jan? I'm sure... I could have sworn it began with the J.
Jasmine.
It's not Jasmine, no. That's racist. Just because she's black.
It's a name. Jesus.
I'm going to have to Google it. Anyway, so you've got all these...
shit, I can't remember.
Main female characters, but none of them are as prominent as Rey.
Yeah, but Rey's also supposed to be the main character for the, as Luke was for the first trilogy.
Iden Versio.
Iden, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just a sense that I got from it is the fact that if they take away the leading female star and make her evil,
that doesn't mean she can be any less of a star.
No, not
I mean, you could see
star,
the Empire from
resonate, do you?
Their point of view rather than, or just see her turning to the dark.
I think it'd be way better. I think she'd make a better villain.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would just sort of switch up the dynamic a little bit more than just, okay, well now they're just back to exactly where they were, except that now Kylo's in charge.
All we've effectively ended up with is Luke versus Vader again.
Yeah, but it's like that's sort of the poking of the whole thing, isn't it? It's just like, you're not as good as Darth Vader, you'll never be as good as Darth Vader, and then he finally comes up against Luke, thinks he's won, and it's just like, nah, see you in a bit, mate. I mean, I did like that, actually. Although I did sort of, it's something weird about this, because his hair was black and his beard was a bit short, and I was just like, this is either the worst continuity error in the history of film, or there's something going on. He's either not really there, because I thought, maybe Leia was sort of like in that kind of Rey and Kylo, where they were sort of talking to each other
Yeah.
and then he went outside, and I was just like, oh. And then they all shot him, and I was just like, oh. And then he came back out of it, and I was like, oh. And then Kylo came down, and then like went woof, and like sort of ran it through him, and then he was still there, and I was just like, what? There's just a whole lot of emotions going on in that little scene alone.
It's when you go back and watch it, you notice everything,
Oh, definitely.
and it's really, really obvious. But at the time, a first viewing, like you say, it's a lot of. I mean, how interesting would it have been if, like, when Kylo's saying it's like, fire everything we've got at that man, and then they're shooting, and then he did just die. Like, it literally just been, oh. Well, carry on then, boys.
Yeah.
Kill everybody else.
What about
That'd
you
have
though? What was your favourite
My
particular bit?
My favourite bit was the throne room. That
Yeah.
generally was my favourite thing of the whole film. My niggles are if oh shit, what was her name? The general that took over Leia.
Oh, Laura.
Vice Admiral
Holdor. I knew we began with the
yeah,
H.
good.
Yeah,
Well
yeah.
done, Zoe. Well done. If she had just told Poe and Finn and that the plan, we wouldn't have had to have gone to the shitty new casino cantina place.
Pointless.
A lot more people would have survived, and as a leader, as Poe said, we should know what's going on. And
Yeah.
she didn't, and there was literally 0 point to her not telling them the plan, because as he pointed out, once he did find out, that's quite a good plan.
Yeah, why would he have like jeopardised it when it makes
Exactly.
sense? Yeah.
But as we pointed out earlier, then that wouldn't have led to the only fucking scene that Captain Phasma was in before she fucking died.
Assumed dead.
Sure.
How? Well, then again, apparently Boba Fett's still alive, so
Yeah, exactly. Now in the
know,
form of
anything's
Maz
possible.
Kanata for some reason.
yeah.
Like, I loved her just sort of like zipping around, shooting a bunch of people whilst talking, and then jetpacks away. I was just like,
Oh yeah.
man, you're cool.
Yeah, but again, that was literally just kind of like spearheaded in to go, don't forget, Maz is still a character in these films.
No, because they sort of used her as the, Spock. So they sort of called her and just went, well, what can we do? What can we do to sort this situation out? I mean, to be fair, the whole the casino, the horse racing, this whole, the bloody, look how oppressed everybody is. You're in a universe that's run by a dictator who can literally like blow up planets and stuff. We don't need that message hammering home. Things are shitty. That's why there's a rebellion.
That
Right.
whole arc of the film was very episode 1 era.
It was a bit weird. That whole thing you could have lost.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea that they go, oh god, you don't want to go to that place. It's it's the worst place in the world. Only the shittest, scummiest people ever go there, and it's just like all the aristocrats and the people who are
Yeah.
making money off the war. And it's just like that's a cool little touch. I like that. It's not all bounty hunters and mercenaries and murderers and old Star Wars cantina kind of thing. Just proper dickheads.
Yeah.
But this goes completely the other way. It's the profiteers. They're the ones who are also as accountable as anybody else who's been involved in the Empire or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But you didn't need the horse racing. The girl who like stuns Finn in the escape pod, like her, didn't need her. She didn't bring anything to the table at all.
What's her name again?
I understand
Rose.
Rose.
That was it.
She's going to be...
The main character.
She- You're going to have Finn, Rey, Rose,
Okay.
Chewie, I suppose, maybe, if they decide to put him in it for more than 11 minutes. And that's gonna comprise... Oh, Poe as well, sorry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to comprise of the new
Main
Luke,
characters,
Han,
yeah.
Leia, Chewie. Obviously, BB-8's going to be... actually, what's going to happen to R2?
Turn them forever.
I don't know. I mean, I assume he's with whatever remains of the rebellion that just got onto the Millennium Falcon. He's all on that new planet now. Like him
yes.
and C-3PO are all going to be down there.
Yeah, I suppose. They'll be in and out. Because it's all going to be BB-8 now, isn't it? So
Yeah.
BB-8.
I like
So
BB-8,
funny.
but again, barely fucking in it.
When he was driving that fucking.
How are they going to sell toys?
Well, they've got those stupid fucking penguin things, porgs.
Oh god, they were so cute.
Don't
No,
get me
that's
wrong.
the thing. I hate them. They don't need to be there. They
What's
are
their
nothing
boot
but
face,
Ewok.
though?
The scene,
Ewok comic relief.
the scene with Chewie when he was about to eat one of the fakest looking
Chickens or something.
chicken things I've ever fucking seen in my life. That was quite funny, but it went on for too long.
Yeah,
If it had
the
just been
quivering
kind
lip
of-
thing, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it was funny. I mean, to be fair, there's quite a lot of jokes in it. In terms of the humour, I thought that most of it was pretty good.
Most of them landed.
But like, there was things where it's just like BB-8 like shot a dude with a bunch of like coins that someone had been putting in him and stuff.
Yeah.
And then after he knocked him out, he sort of leant down and went, "Whew," like he was blowing off the barrel of a gun. I was like, you don't need that.
No, that was
Overkill.
one I was gonna actually comment
It's just
on.
like that's not, that's not. That's like it's not the sort of like endearing, the touching things like when Finn says, oh, you need to get us to the base sort of thing, and then he gives him the thumbs up, and then BB-8 sticks his little thing out. Like I was just like, oh, that's so cool. I love that.
That is still one of my favourite Star Wars moments.
Yeah, it's just such a
was
cool
really
little
well
thing
done.
because it's just like, wow, look at the personality in this little round droid. And now he's off like stealing ATSTs and stuff, and just blowing people away, which is cool. But those Porg things, don't need them there. They are there just to sell toys. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
we
need 'em.
actually looked at one, right? It was a animated, like an automatronic.
Animatronic.
Animatronic.
Automatronic. What, are you from the
That's
1940s?
I'm thinking of fucking Fallout.
Yeah. No, automatronic.
Stay away from that Hitler. He's a bad egg. What's that? Archer. But anyway, all it did, its mouth opened and its eyes, I think he
Yes.
blinked or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and it was $37.99.
Ridiculous.
It was insane. Anyway, one of my funniest bits, I don't even think was a super intentional comedy bit, but it did make me laugh, was towards the end when Hux he constantly keeps repeating everything Kylo's ordering, and then Kylo
Just
turns.
looks at him. He's just like,
that
what are you
bit was
doing?
fucking hilarious. Like, it was kind of one of them things where in my head I'm going, why are you repeating what he's saying? And then Kylo looked at him and was like, hey.
Yeah.
That was
No,
quite funny.
there was two really good bits in it that really made me laugh. Like one when there's that massive destroyer that turns up and Poe flies out in front of it, and it's just like, I've got a message for General Hux, and then he's talking. It's like, we're gonna crush the air, and he's just like, I'll hold for General Hux. He's like, what? No, it's me. Can he hear me? I was just like, okay, that's pretty funny. And then the other bit was like when Rey was practicing with the lightsaber and she cut that rock in half and it like crushed that.
Yeah, it went through that cart.
Yeah, and that little thing was just like, for fuck's sake.
It's fixed your building, bitch. Now you've done this to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she put a hole through the bloody
That really
wall,
made me
actually.
laugh.
The Poe bit was funny until it was like, your mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not Star Wars.
No.
I understand. Like the other bit before it was funny, and the fact that it showed you actually got to see Poe as a really good pilot as well,
Yeah,
As
shooting
he, like,
those things.
getting through all the cannons and stuff,
Yeah.
and the fact that they knew unless they took him out, he was gonna just clean up everything.
See,
and
actually,
that kind of stuff's really good.
In that scene, one of the things that that I've seen as like one of the criticisms is when they're doing the bombing run and they've got those big sort of bomb ship things that are, they've got stacks and stacks and stacks of bombs in them. It flies over, the woman sacrifices herself, drops all the bombs out. The bombs fall out like an aeroplane.
Yeah,
It's space, so they wouldn't fall. But
they'd have to fire them.
yeah, or they'd have to be pushed out, right? Two things, right? Even if we wanted to look at this practically, as in how would that work in real space sort of thing, there can be something that just pushes them out, right? A slide release thing that just shoves them out the bottom, and they will just continue onwards until they hit something, right?
Yeah.
Two, this is also a fantasy world where people can use laser swords and read people's minds and talk across the galaxy through each other's heads. It doesn't matter, right? You also can't hear sound in space. Things can't fly faster than light, right? Things like that, you cannot mark a film down for something like that. It's like saying, I can hear the lasers in space. Terrible film. Like,
Totally honest, I didn't even think about that till you just mentioned it. It's like, why is Has somebody marked it down?
Seriously, yeah. Like they said, here's the sort of like 20 things that I didn't like about it, and then a few things that they did like. But there was, some of them were sort of like fairly, the whole, again, the casino thing coming up, just saying don't really need it. The whole oppression thing, don't really need that, and that I agree with. I think that's perfectly valid. But then they were just like, now Poe's an idiot. Finn was useless.
He was quite useless,
but that's what I mean. There's other things that kind of broach into the fact of just like, yeah, that's actually not a bad point. But then I saw that and I was just like, well, fuck me, there's other things that are actually genuinely a problem rather than, oh well, they didn't fall out of that ship like they would in real space. Well, yeah, but there's also not enormous fucking star destroyers flying around with people who can pick people up and flip them around and read their minds. So don't worry about those kind of little things. It's a fantasy world, right? Yeah. Things like that can totally slip. Yeah. It's just the bigger things where it's just sort of like, when there's a plot hole, I'm just like, well, why didn't she just tell them the plan? And then they would have not gone on that whole crazy adventure whilst they're still under attack, by the way.
Yeah.
I totally get that. That makes
valid points.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, because Finn barely did anything in the whole film, even though he is one of the main stars of the new Star Wars films, is when he appears to be sacrificing himself towards the end of the film. You got no motivation to be compelled to be sad.
No.
Because like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot he was in. Oh, he's gonna die in a minute. He's not. It's all right.
I don't know. See, I kind of liked that where he was just like, I'm just gonna. This is it, I was going to run away, but, the rebellion's more important than this, and I know what they're doing, and I can help them, I can save them. And then he flies in, and then he had his eyes closed, and I was just like, yeah, you go, Flynn, fucking hell, you go, Finn.
Flynn Rider,
yeah.
Tangled.
Yeah.
Like, you fuck them up, and then that woman just smashes into him, and I was just like, what? Well, now the gate's going to blow up, you idiot. And then he does. But obviously, they didn't know that Luke Skywalker was going to be there to save everybody.
No.
Plus, at that point, they also didn't know that there was a way out of that cave.
No.
So she just said, well, instead of you sacrificing yourself and blowing that big cannon thing up so no one can get in, what I'll do is I'll knock you out of the way so I can save you, and then we can all die together.
What I like is that, obviously, Luke wasn't there, and the reason they went down there is because they thought that's the way Luke came in. But, like, imagine if you just walked in.
Dog things. They were following the dogs. The Arctic crystal dog things.
Yeah, but, there was no other way in. That was the only way in and out through that gate. And then, obviously, Luke just appeared from the back to, like, oh, there must be a way out. And then they followed the diamond cat wolf things.
Yeah.
Which was taken directly from Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if when Rose saved Finn, she actually killed him.
Yeah.
That'd be
in
great.
The process, paralysed herself, killed Finn.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, because I mean, and plus, they said, "Oh, we've got this giant battering ram." How many times is that going to be needed? Surely they can just say, "Well, because obviously they're not just going to have that thing that's just lying around. It's going to be on a big ship somewhere, isn't it?"
Yeah.
So they said that there was like planetary shields, so they couldn't just like shoot them from space. They could just shoot the doors because there was shields up.
Yeah.
So they had to drop down this big thing that fired a big beam that blew a hole in the door. So they sent down like 20, 80, whatever Ts that they are now. Because there was like 80 ATs are just the normal ones from like Empire or whatever.
Yeah, they're the big dog ones.
Yeah, and then there's 80 CTs, I think, which are the ones from... No, CT, which are the big ones from Rogue One, like with the big cargo thing in them.
Yeah.
But these ones have got like sort of like weird backwards feet thing, and I really don't know what sort of, I don't know what they're called. But there's like
STDs.
Yeah, ATSTDs. Yeah, burn like hell. But like, so they all come down, and there's like a dozen of them, a bunch of ATSTs, and then like that weird big flying eagle transport thing that was controlling them all. I mean, they didn't exactly have any kind of like... It just seems like a weird thing to have. Just like it's just a thing that shoots... I mean, plus the Death Star used kyber crystals as a power source to shoot the lasers, I think.
Yeah.
Starkiller Base used the sun to fire its thing, and yet it's just well, you can just stick it on the planet and it just fires. Does it just get one shot, or?
Oh no, because in like the kyber crystal that's used is fucking massive, and they only cut bits of it off, and they use them in different weapons. So there's a possibility it's powered.
But if
because the Death Star was destroyed, so the kyber crystal would have been gone anyway.
Well, no, that was just that collection of kyber crystals. There's still tons of kyber crystals everywhere. But
yeah, but it was a big, because it's like it's about 6 episodes of Rebels, leading into like how they get the kyber crystal.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of effort to get that one.
Yeah. But like the planetary shields from Rogue One, it's like a big old thing that just covers the entire planet, and the only way you can possibly get through it, in or out, is through one big door, right? And they just open that up, and then ships fly in and ships fly out, and then as soon as they shut that, that's it.
Yeah.
So if they had planetary shields on this planet, why did they just fly down? How could they have?
This is also true.
Because if they turned them off, then just shoot the door from space.
Yeah, you could do. There's a lot of plot holes. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. It's just like, we'll just use a giant laser battering ram instead, rather than just, well, there's no ships in space to defend them. We'll just shoot it. We'll just keep on shooting it. We'll blow the mountain up if we have to.
Surely they could have done something from the ship without sending out many people.
I don't know. That's what I mean. Like, because if they say no, there's planetary shields, so that they can't shoot from space, they go, okay, that's fine. Then how did they get the ships there? How did they land all the other shit on the planet then, if that's the case?
Might be like trajectory shields, so like you can walk through it and stuff. But if something, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Oh, I know. I see what you mean. So if you fight, it's like an energy resistant thing. So if you shoot with a laser, it'll just bounce off. But if you fly through it, then you can still go through.
Yeah.
Maybe so. But there just seems like a lot of power for an abandoned base to still have something like that lying around.
What I will say, visually, a very good scene. I really like that scene.
Yeah, I like it when all the sand was out of the way and it looked like a big pool of blood that was like running out from underneath the big gate. Like when Luke came through it, that looked amazing.
But
like visually, like cinematography wise, fuck me, this film looked amazing.
Wrong. As I said before we started, we all 3 of us really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't know. A lot of people complained about The Force Awakens, and I think I said this to you earlier. I didn't come out of The Last Jedi feeling as good and as excited as I did coming out of The Force Awakens. That could have been down to it's been so long since we've had a good Star Wars film, or and it was purely down to nostalgia because of it being so similar to A New Hope or what, I don't know. But I literally came out and Zoe said, "What do you think?" I really liked it, and I went, it's alright. And I was massively underwhelmed. I wouldn't say it's the worst Star Wars film. I wouldn't say it's the best. And it's definitely not as good as Empire. But I think was it Rian Johnson was the director? Ryan Johnson.
I think it is just pronounced Ryan.
Ryan,
I could be wrong, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I feel that everything that J.J. Abrams was seemingly setting up, it seems Rian or Ryan, Mr. Johnson, has gone, nah.
But that's kind of what I like, though, is the fact that because there was elements of Force Awakens that were just copy and paste in terms of structure or whatever from previous films, and because it's not all just CGI and like, the one thing that I noticed was a big complaint. It's just like, oh god, you didn't even make something new. You've just copied and pasted. Now they have made something new, and people go, well, it's nothing like the other ones.
It's exactly the same as the Force Awakens. Exactly. Everyone complained about the prequels. The prequels are shit. It's nothing like the original trilogy. Force Awakens came out. It's exactly the same as A New Hope. I hate it.
But that's the thing. It's just it's a crowd of people that are shouting into the wind that will never ever get pleased. Because it doesn't matter. Because you could sit the most hardcore fan down and say, right, how do you want us to make this film? And they go, right, do this, 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 and this. Make it like the original trilogy. And you go, brilliant, okay, that's exactly what we'll do. And then you'll have the second highest Uber fan, like, you'll sit them down and say, how do you want us to make it? And say, well, don't make it like the original trilogy. They're timeless. They're precious. Make it something new.
Yeah.
So, regardless of whichever one you try to appease, you're going to annoy the other one.
Well, I think they have managed, in at least to some degree, both Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. There is literally, you can dissect it, and there's going to be parts that super like ridiculous fans are going to enjoy, and then there's going to be just people that go to the cinema, and they're also going to enjoy. And it's a kind of good middle ground that Disney seem to have with like the Avengers and stuff like that. And
yeah, they cater for all needs rather than
they're not just making it for this demographic. And a good example of it is obviously the prequels, but Spider-Man. You look at the Sony Spider-Man films, and then you look at the Disney Spider-Man film, and they're vastly different. Vastly different. And obviously the Disney one is better. Overall, though, I would say this is a good film. Are we all in agreement with that?
I'd say so, yeah.
However, if you could have taken anything out and changed it, what would you have taken out?
The fight between Luke and Kylo.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you quite liked that.
You should take it out and change it, not take it out.
Oh, right. I'll actually make it an actual fight.
Yeah. I wanted, because, like, it's the way that I saw it, or the way that I wanted it to happen as soon as he was going to be there. To be fair, as soon as he came out and then it was that, like, sort of long shot with them both at either end, I thought that's when the film was going to end.
Yeah.
And I was going to get really annoyed because it just sort of left it on such a cliffhanger. But it's weird, but I kind of it's how I wanted Iron Fist to be, like where Iron Fist
fighting Kylo Ren.
No, shut up. Like he would come up against someone that was just like has just been proven is just so powerful and whatever, and then because he's so powerful, he comes in and just knocks him out in like one punch, and it's just power, and that's it, and you're just like, oh fuck me, this guy's a badass. So like I wanted Kylo to just be going mental, trying to attack Luke and kill him, and Luke barely making an effort. Yeah. And he's just like, God, you're not even anything compared to an actual Jedi Master. Like, if you were up against Mace Windu or Yoda or Obi-Wan or anything, you wouldn't stand a chance, right? Because you haven't been trained in the same way that they have, which is why Rey can beat you, which is why Finn can get a few cheap shots in on you. Because you're not that powerful, even though everyone thinks you are, because you can, use the Force. And yet Luke comes in and he's just like, mate, you're nothing. Because, I mean, he kind of does that. Like, he just sort of, like, he barely even uses his lightsaber. He just sort of, like, swings back and then does, like, a cool little flip backwards. And he's out of the way again.
You got, like, your Matrix shot where Kylo's saber
he swings at his... And he just sort of, like, limbos under it, Like, but I wanted... Because it was kind of like, in Rebels when Obi-Wan Kenobi meets up with Darth Maul again.
Yeah.
And they just have a sort of a chat and a conversation. And then it comes to the fight. And Obi-Wan just... dead.
Yeah.
It was just that. It was just like there wasn't a competition in it. Like you've seen everything that Maul was doing through that, but then he comes up against Obi-Wan. It's just whoosh, and he's dead, and that's it.
Like, but they kind of had to do that though. They couldn't have had Maul survive.
Oh no! But I mean that in the way that it was done. It's like as soon as lightsabers went out, there was no way he could have won because Obi-Wan was that much more powerful at that point.
I was very sad that they didn't get. It was kind of teased that there was going to be like a Maul Vader fight in that season of Rebels.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been ace. But then again, he'd been dead before he met Obi-Wan. So.
Well, yeah, true.
What would you have taken out and changed?
The Princess Leia bit, when they get shot into space.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of an odd choice,
magic.
wasn't it?
It's like, has she got the Force? Is she just...
Well, we know she is
Force
sensitive.
She definitely is, yeah,
we
absolutely.
We knew that, but that seems incredibly powerful. I think... I think it was you earlier, actually. It could have been James, can't remember. Said that they should have gracefully put Leia out of the film.
That's what I thought they were going to do, definitely.
Because it was a seemingly night. She went down still fighting the cause. Obviously, didn't survive getting shot into space, as not many people would. Mostly they didn't. But it was just a very bizarre scene of where you see she has got the Force. She is actually properly using it, but at the same time, I've never seen that happen in Star Wars history.
That's the thing. I mean, she didn't. That's the thing they didn't tell you, or it wasn't particularly prevalent. Sorry, is that she didn't pull herself into the ship. She pulled the ship towards her.
Yeah.
No, of course she didn't.
No,
like, she's just going to space and they just go,
know,
come to me, ship, and just...
You don't know, do you?
Well, of course not. Otherwise she would have been... You would just see the ship just sort of go... And just, like, list off to the right, and they were like, what's going on with that ship over there? It's just like, oh, it's just... Oh, wait, hold on. Isn't that General Organa that's just pulling that ship towards it while she's in space? What the fuck?
But plus the door flied open when she comes in and shoots Poe. I think that's...
That was her blowing it up,
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, there were people cutting it with lasers, though, so probably not.
That's true, yeah. It's probably just been cut and then kicked in.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have killed Snoke off.
I don't know. I think he would have just been... Because, I mean, he did seem to have that sort of, like, you know, he could just swat people away. Like, Rey, like, whips her lightsaber off his thing, and he just makes it fly around the room and smack her in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, like, it's just like, you're nothing. What could you possibly do? But then again, it's his own hubris that kind of gets him killed, because he just thinks, what could you do against me? You know, I'm way too powerful. He
is, to me at least, genuinely the most interesting character of the whole new Star Wars franchise. Like, Kylo is... I like Kylo, and he gets a lot of flack, and I think Adam Driver, especially in this one, he's done a much better job with him, and you can tell he's a very torn person. But... he's just a low-rate Darth Vader.
Yeah, he's just a wannabe. That's all he'll ever be.
We've already had this version of Darth Vader. His name was Anakin.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was played by a wooden boy. He's a bad actor. Hayden Christensen's a bad actor. But we've seen it already. Whereas, all right, we've had a Palpatine figure before, but we've never had someone as mysterious as this.
Well, I mean, we've had Palpatine for 6 films.
That's what I'm saying. We've had that, so it's not a case of we need a really super powerful dark side user. There's lore and mystery behind this character, and now he just got cut in half. That was it, done. Same as Maul. Maul was like the best thing about the original trilogy, and then he just got cut in half by a shitty Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have happened. If anyone should have done it, it should have been Qui-Gon.
Yeah, but he also got stabbed. So.
He did. He got killed because, again, he was not as interesting as old Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of nitpicks, and I will keep saying it. I did enjoy it, and I did, but I was incredibly underwhelmed. Could have been my own fault. We were so excited. Then it's like 11 days, 6 days.
See, I didn't have that. I wasn't.
You booked it on the day and went.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, I wasn't super psyched for it.
I
was looking forward to it, sure, but I wasn't like, oh my god. It wasn't like probably how I'm going to be when like Infinity War comes around. Like that, I'm going to be like, oh god, this is going to be amazing. Or when I went to see Spider-Man, or when The Punisher came out, you know. I mean, those were things where I was just like, oh god, it's only a week away, and then I can sit down and watch the whole of The Punisher. It's going to be amazing. And then came out of it just going, oh, that was so good. But I just went to see this as a new Star Wars film. Not necessarily... I don't know, I think it's because I tried... Because I was so hyped for when The Force Awakens came out. I think that... Because I only watched like one trailer for The Last Jedi. Yeah, and I just avoided absolutely everything. I just had no interaction with it or anything. I just kept my distance, and I was just like, I'm going to watch it when it comes out, and that'll be it. And, you know, no one told me anything about it. I didn't have anything spoiled at all. And I just came out of it just going, that was a really good film. But I'm not going to sit here and say it was the best Star Wars film that's ever made. But I'm also not going to sit here and say that was the worst Star Wars film that's ever been made. because objectively, I couldn't confidently say either for that film. When when Benicio del Toro turned up in it,
Yeah.
right? For one, no need for him to be there. That whole character, no need for any of that. But when he got up and he was all sort of like dishevelled and stuff, and my heart skipped a beat because I was just like, oh my god, what if this is Kyle Katarn, or what if this is Dash Rendar, or like some really obscure character? And then he was just like, oh no, wait, you're just a random dickhead.
When it was announced he was going to be in it, and one of the only things that was, I don't know whether it was leaked or just put out there, was he played a thief, and there was a massive speculation that it was going to be Ezra, like old Ezra. And
Ezra Miller, the Flash from Justice League.
No, Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels.
Oh right, that makes more sense.
I was like, I can actually see.
Yeah, but Ezra isn't exactly.
Ezra.
He's not a thief though, is he?
He is.
No, he starts as a thief.
He's
a
able to
Jedi
steal
now.
things.
Yeah, but
Not
he's
yet.
a Jedi.
No,
The Jedi
not
don't
yet,
exactly
he's
run
not.
around stealing shit.
Yeah, but they don't run around with Sith holocrons, but Ezra does.
Yeah, I know, but that's still kind of in par with what you'd expect a Jedi to be doing, looking at holocrons and shit, not end up in prison.
And he's also got a bloody.
And also, it would be a pretty shit version of The Last Jedi if there was just one that happened to be in a prison cell.
Yeah, maybe he's not a Jedi anymore. Oh, well, he's not anyway because he's a character called DJ. But I was like, you know what? I could see him as an old Ezra. He's got the kind. I can see it in the face. Obviously, as soon as he was in the prison thing, then it was like, he's definitely not going to be Ezra. But I want some rebels, man. Fucking hell.
Well, we haven't had Chopper yet. We've had the Ghost. We haven't had Chopper. We've had Syndulla.
Chopper's in Rogue One.
No, I said we've had Chopper.
Oh, sorry.
Oh wait, did I?
No, well, you said we haven't. But...
Oh right, well no, I meant it because that's what we've seen him in. Yeah. So we've seen Chopper, we've seen the Ghost, we've heard Admiral Syndulla.
Yeah.
But there's been no mention of Kaden, no mention of Ezra, none of the other rebels, as far as I'm aware, anyway.
No. I'm pretty sure Kanan's gonna die. Rebels finishes next. Well, I think it's next year. It's on a break at the minute.
Right.
Pretty sure Kanan will die. Seeing as there's barely any Mandalorians or anything, I'm going to assume. What's her name? Sabine. Sabine will die. I reckon Ezra could survive in some capacity.
Well, he's young enough to be in the sort of. When he gets older, he could still be within that time period.
He's the same age as Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
They're born on the same day. So I reckon he could, but there's more of a possibility that he probably won't, purely because there's already the new plans for the show that's going to take over Rebels. So I won't be surprised if everybody fucking dies except Chopper and fucking hell, I forgot her name.
Who?
Captain.
The
first name.
Oh no, I can't remember.
Don't matter. Hera.
Yeah, of course.
Hera. Yeah. I reckon she's probably going to be the only one that survives. That's why I really wanted Snoke to be Ezra.
That would have been a twist.
That'd have been way more interesting.
Do you know what I want to see? I want to see a droid that can use the Force. That's what I want to see.
How is that going to happen?
Because if what they're trying to do is basically just say like, it doesn't have to be, it's not like a genetic condition. Like that's what they were doing in the Force Awakens, is saying, oh, it's just in your blood. Everyone who's got these midichlorians in them, they're stronger with the Force. It's like testosterone. The more you have, blah blah blah. So
penis.
Now they're saying that Rey, her parents are no one of consequence. They were just drunk people. So it's just like, oh, okay, well then the Force doesn't exist within you. Then you are, it's like a Green Lantern ring. You are kind of chosen. So why couldn't a droid be chosen?
Do you think that's a ruse, though?
Oh, for sure. There is absolutely no way that Rey's parents are just randomers.
Yeah.
No way. Not to say that they're Jedis or anything, but they are people of consequence. I guarantee you of that.
I don't want it to be Han and Leia.
I think, like, being like, a Skywalker or a Solo or a Kenobi seems fairly easy. If they're trying to get these sort of new characters in, you don't want one that's associated with one of the old ones necessarily. If they're, unless they want, they're going to have Finn and Rose and BB-8 and Poe, who aren't related to each other or anyone else, and then you've got Rey, who's a Kenobi, say.
Yeah.
So that's your link to your old cast, maybe. But
it make more sense to have Finn as Lando's son.
What, as he's the only other black person in the galaxy?
That, plus...
That was actually something I did notice. I was just like, apart from Finn and apart from Lando, are there any other black people in this film?
Vader. He's voiced by a black man.
Yeah, but he's actually like a Yorkshireman or whatever the fuck he was from Cornwall or something.
No, but it's from a, shall we say, technical point of view. Aren't Jedi like celibate?
I think it's supposed to be like without families, which is why Anakin kind of fucked everything up for everybody.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, he was so sort of emotionally involved with her that as soon as anything went wrong, his emotions would take over rather than his thought and reason, I suppose.
Plus, the downfall of the Empire was his kids.
and the downfall of the Jedi was him.
Well, yeah. So it makes more sense that if they are going to have a link to the old ones, Lando would be the one that's just throwing his dick about.
Maybe, but I mean, Finn wasn't exactly a clone, but I mean, he was stolen from his family. But we've never had any sort of hints or indications that he's got anything to do with.
No, I don't think he will.
Because he's just started as a number. He wasn't a named character.
No. I don't think he's. I don't think anyone. I don't think anybody's going to be linked to the Kenobis and the Skywalkers and fucking Palpatines. I don't think there's going to be a link for that once they've ironed out the old cast.
I don't know, to be fair. I mean, if she turned out to be like Emperor Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter or something, I'd be like, ooh.
Well, that was another a theory that was knocking about for quite a while. That she was Palpatine's, I think, granddaughter, not necessarily daughter. But again, I can't. If they do that, they're back to square one.
Yeah, they're just starting to rehash things again.
Yeah. And I like the idea, and I'm pretty sure we said it on the Force Awakens Spoilercast that it'd be better if she's nobody like.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of where I was just like, I'm fairly sure that's not the case, but I like the fact that she's just like, oh god, I don't matter in terms of the grand scale of things. I'm not part of a prestigious family or heroes or whatever. I'm just a person who's just Force sensitive. But then that opens up the question that if she is just a random person who can use the Force or is sensitive with the Force in that kind of way, is she the only one?
Well, apparently
she can't be the only person in the galaxy, surely.
Isn't it hinted? I mean, I haven't done it to know for sure then, but this is what I've read, that it's quite heavily hinted in the Battlefront 2 campaign that her parents are in that.
No.
Is it not? I'll take it back then.
Well, in a sense, that's what you assume, but there's nothing specifically about it. No.
Because it is canon.
It is, yeah. And I mean, if that turns out to be the case, then I would understand. Because I won't spoil it for you, because I know you're getting it soon. I want you to play it and kind of experience it yourself. But if it turns out that is the case, then I can understand why Kylo would just be like, they're nothing. They're just shit people. I'd get why he'd say that, because as with many of the other sort of things that we've seen through his eyes, that's how he sees things, or that's his interpretation, or that's what he's been exposed to. So if that was the case, and they are, then I'm down with that, because they're cool parents, but again, they're not exactly people of not consequence.
But that also assumes everybody's played Battlefront 2.
But that's the beauty of video games. You've got to be in it to win it. And it's not going to be any great loss if they don't, because it can just be explained in 2 minutes as to who they are.
Yeah, you just get some actors that resemble the video game characters and play a brief flashback.
Yeah,
Job
or
done.
you just allure to it. You just say, oh, they were such and such, and this is what they did, and people who played the game go, oh my god, brilliant, and then it just circulates around the internet. Or when people say, I still don't know who Ray's parents are, and then you can have someone like you who stand there up and go, actually, blah 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 blah, and then just reel it all off. Going to Lightspeed, because like we've seen it with Vader's Star Destroyer when that turned up in Force Rogue One, sorry. And like all the ships just flew into the side of it and exploded as they were going to light speed.
Yeah.
Why don't they just have things that go to light speed as weapons? What do you like? Because an X-wing can go to light speed, right? It's got a hyperdrive.
Yeah.
Why not just get one of them that's piloted by a droid or remotely and just fly 40 of them at the enemy and go to all of them to light speed, and they'll just decimate everything they hit? Why don't you just do that, or get one of the big cruisers that go, shit, well, we're not going to be able to fly away from here. I know, turn around, get a hyperdrive, and just slam straight into the front of them and blow them up. Evacuate those ships, use the last of the fuel, turn them around before they've done all this chase thing, fly them straight at them, blow them up. There's no way you can defend against something going that fast.
Oh, well, unless your ship could
get out of there beforehand.
Quicker, yeah.
Maybe, but that massive ship turning around...
You would have to know what they were going to do.
But they did. They said, the ship's charging the hyperdrive. And they were just like, that's stupid, there's no one on it. They're trying to just distract us or something. And then they turn it around and they're like, oh shit, they're going to fly it straight at us with hyperdrive. Oh my god, we can't do anything about that. Surely that's a really good tactic.
It is now. It'll probably be
just
used
do
again.
that forever. Why aren't you doing that forever? Why don't they just get the entire Rebel fleet and just hyperdrive them all into the side of the Death Star? Bang, gone.
Yeah, well, considering a lot of them aren't afraid to die for the cause anyway.
That's not the reason. That's not a reason to kill them off, though. That's not good enough.
No, but what I'm saying is, considering that if, like, say, you've got like Snoke and everything. I mean, Snoke's ship was hidden away anyway, wasn't it? It wasn't there.
He's got a cool ship. I'll give him that.
But there's been a lot of times when rebels have come up against, like, all the big baddies are on the same ship. If they'd have just done that and gone, well, we're all going to die here, but like the Empire's tyranny will be over, and then all the people down on all the other planets will be safe. Fuck it, like you say, hyperdrive straight into them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be a short trilogy.
Maybe, but I'm sure that there's plenty of ships that have got hyperdrives where they can just scoop a bunch of them up, just buy them all or steal them all or whatever you got to do, and you just fly them all out the hangar and just 1, 2, 3, just leather them all into the side of Star Destroyers and stuff.
A lot of the ships the Rebels have got in Star Wars Rebels have been stolen from the Empire. So
yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be hard to get them. Like you say, wouldn't even need to put droids in them. You just like program them so it can be remotely controlled by a droid, and then just, like you say, just fly them all straight in.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got like however many you can buy or steal or make. You've just got like hundreds of like hugely devastating, because like anything flying that fast hitting something will have a huge impact, because it's like the transference of force from like something going that speed to that's why a bullet can do so much damage. It's a tiny little thing, but because it's going so fast, it does so much damage when it hits something or someone.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. An X-wing may not blow up a Star Destroyer going at light speed, but 40 of them.
Yeah, I'll take it out easily.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah. And plus that one ship, like it flew, like cut Snoke's ship in half, but then like the pieces of it cut all the other Star Destroyers in pieces as well. So it's just like clearly something going that fast will just decimate anything it touches going at that speed.
Yeah.
So just do that, or just get a big asteroid and put a hyperdrive in it. I don't know.
I don't think that's how it works. Anyway,
I don't know.
we got for way too long. If you want to listen to some other stuff or watch some other stuff, you can go to the website, which is www.podcast.com, podcastversusplayer.com or .co.uk. Head over to YouTube, which is youtube.com/podcastversusplayer. Follow us on Twitter at podcastvplayer or Instagram at podcastversusplayer. We had a giveaway over the weekend. We gave away Laser League to people. I can't remember the names, so well done. And there'll be more giveaways coming up. There's some more videos coming up. And obviously, there'll be another podcast in the week. Dan,
Yes.
May the Force be with you. And, yeah, some other quote.
Nice.
There you go. I'm tired. Bye.